It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to December 9th, the year 2023, when the Nashville Predators were in Toronto to take on the Maple Leafs for the second and final regular season of the meeting. Head coach Andrew Brunette deployed his lines in the following way: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist; Sherwood, Novak, and Evangelista; Trennan, Sissons, and Smith; Parson, Glass back in the lineup, and Tomasino also on the fourth line. And then you see McDonough and Yossi, Luzon and Carrier back in the lineup. Barry and Shen make up your third defensive pairing. Kevin Lankinen gets the start on the road against the Leafs. Just 54 seconds in the game is Kevin Lankinen coming up with a save on Marner, the first shot on goal of the game at 2:25 of the first period. Samsonov coming up with his first save of the game, then coming on Luke Evangelista at 4:26 after the team skate up and down, trade a couple of chances. We see Lankinen come up with a save on Calle Yarncroke, former Nashville Predator, one of our favorites here on the show. 6:11 of the first period, Samsonov comes up with a save on Parson. 7:37, Samsonov comes up with a save on O'Reilly at 8:06. Lankinen comes up with a save on Kampf at 10:25 of the first period. Already halfway through, Samsonov comes up with a save on Colton Sissons. At 11:57, we found our first special teams action of the game as McCabe is off to the box. 2 minutes for hooking. Samsonov would have to come up with a huge save on Colton Sissons during the Nashville Predators power play, but that would be it. Overall, a pretty solid PK by the Toronto Maple Leafs. At 12:49 of the first period, Lankinen coming up with a save on Gregor. That actually came shorthanded on the breakaway as part of that penalty kill. So again, an excellent job by the Toronto Maple Leafs in this scenario. At 14:24 of the first period, back to 5-on-5 action. Lankinen comes up with a save on Tavares at 15:26. Lankinen comes up with a save on Robertson at 16:42. Nylander hits the crossbar after a turnover. Lankinen went with the two-pad stack and kicked the foot up in the air, trying to do whatever he could to be a distraction, get himself in the way, make himself big, and it was his good friend the crossbar that helped him out. Nylander really with a significant rip on this shot right here. At 17:15 of the first period, it's Philip Forsberg off the box. 2 minutes for tripping on McCabe, the Nashville first penalty kill of the game. They would give up 0 shots against, and it would be a very strong penalty kill. We're going to hear that several times throughout this particular show. The Toronto Maple Leafs would outshoot the Nashville Predators 9-7 over the course of the first period, but we would have no score in this game. 45 seconds into the second period, it's Lankinen coming up with a save on Nyes at 2:25 of the second period. It's Carrier. He's off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. We see the Toronto Maple Leafs highly skilled power play go back to work. It's Lankinen coming with a save on Nylander's one-timer, and then that would be it for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Overall, it would be another outstanding penalty kill by this Nashville Predators team. We'd see Samsonov at 4:50 coming up with a save on Smith. Samsonov at 7:12 coming up with a save on O'Reilly, getting in close and bringing the jam. At 8:15 of the second period, it's Shen off the box. 2 minutes for interference. He was, frankly, too aggressive on his defense and took the man in front of him just clean down to the ice. In some situations, maybe he gets away with that one, but that was too aggressive in this situation. Lankinen clocking in, and he's going to have to do some significant work right here. His first save comes up on Nylander. The second save he comes up with is on Tavares. The next save he comes up with is on Bertuzzi, and that would do it for the Leafs power play. By far the most effective power play they've had in this game, and the most effective the penalty killing of Kevin Lankinen had to be in this game. At 12:01 of the second period, Samsonov comes up with a save on McDonough, plus the follow-up by Nyquist just a couple of seconds later. And then at 14:15 of the second period, a breakthrough finally comes for the Toronto Maple Leafs as Kampf scores his third goal of the season, making it 1-0 in favor of the Leafs. A long pass helped him split the D, and then he drove to the net hard, using the defender and his body as a shield and getting off a great shot. Truly for Kampf, a great individual effort to take on two defenders and the goaltender and come away with the goal in this one. Hard-earned goal right here. 1-0 in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. At 16:59 of the second period, it's Lankinen coming up with a save on Kampf. This time he does come up with a stop, but at 17:57, it's Matthews converting for the Toronto Maple Leafs again. Now they're up 2-0 in this game. Matthews, his 17th goal of the season, was a backhand at the back door. And listen, I understand he is easily one of the most high-skilled individuals in this current age of hockey, but he made this look so casual and easy. that it was just gross. Matthews with his 17th of the season, truly a sick backhand, just tapping it in at the back door. Good passing by the Toronto Maple Leafs, again, to set that up. 2-0 in favor of the Leafs. At 18:05, Predators are going to have a chance to respond. They're going to get a power play when Tavares goes off to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Tommy Novak, though, he's going to ring iron. Tommy Novak hits the post hard, and you would see a strong penalty kill by the Toronto Maple Leafs. It would be a number of shot blocks in the most critical areas of the ice. Going to the hard areas, the Nashville Predators were unable to get their shots through, only getting Novak's shot through, and that was off the post. So actually 0 shots on goal for the Nashville Predators on this penalty kill, on this power play. Penalty kill was for the Leafs. It would carry over for 5 seconds into the third period, but that doesn't really make a difference. At the end of the second period, Toronto is now out shooting Nashville. They're leading 2-0, but they're out shooting Nashville 22-13. 22-13. So the Preds went from 7 shots on goal in the first to 13. The Leafs went from 9 in the first to 22 in the second. We flip things over and we go to the backside of the sheet. We're going to take a look at what happened in the third period. Clean sheet of ice, 40 seconds in. It's Lankinen coming up with a save on Marner at 1:14 of the third period. Samsonov comes up with a save on Alex Carrier at 2:47 of the third period. It's Lankinen. He's coming up with a save on McCabe at 3:18 of the third period. Samsonov coming up with a save on Philip Forsberg. Good scoring opportunity right here, but unfortunately for the Nashville Predators at 4:55 of the third period, it's Luzon off to the box. 2 minutes for slashing. Lankinen back to work again, strong right here. Comes up with another save on Nylander. Follows that up a few seconds later with a save on Matthews. And the Nashville Predators penalty kill continues getting the work done in this game. We are at 8:03 of the third period. It's Lankinen coming up with a save on Robertson at 10:08, midway through the third period now. Samsonov comes up with a save on O'Reilly. O'Reilly, one of the only Nashville Predators seeming to be able to break through and get shots on goal in this here game. 12:15 of the third period. Samsonov coming up with a save on Juuso Parssinen, 13:34. Lankinen comes up with a save on Tavares and a huge follow-up by the Leafs. Lankinen keeping his team at least reasonably in this game. 14:04 of the third period. It's going to be Sherwood versus McCabe. 5 minutes each. More of a fast-paced wrestling match than a true toe-to-toe tilt. But for these two players, they certainly got after each other. This developed when Sherwood saw McCabe take one of his teammates down. Didn't like it. They followed each other around the rink for a while. They talked about it quite a bit. Then they dropped the gloves and they got after each other. Again, it was a short but animated fight for sure. A lot of energy in that scrap. 5 minutes apiece. No power plays for either team coming out of that. 15:38 here of the third period. It's Ryan McDonough. He's off the box. 2 minutes for hooking in without one of the Nashville Predators' best penalty killers on the rink. Lankinen would come up with a save on Riley, but then it would be Austin Matthews, his 18th goal of the season. And again, Matthews with just the sick wrist shot. He is just one of the most complete and high-skilled players in the game right now, and I'm glad the Nashville Predators only have to face off against him twice a season. He picks up his second goal of the game, his 18th of the season, and finishes this thing off with an absolute laser of a wrist shot. Lankinen never had a chance on this one. So for the first time in quite some time, the Preds give up a power play goal against. That gives the Leafs a 3-0 lead. Now, only thing left for the Nashville Predators at this point to see if they can at least get on the board. At 17:28, we see Benoit off to the box. 2 minutes for hooking, and unfortunately for the Nashville Predators, with the extra attacker on the empty net and having to sell all out to try to get on the board, they're not only unable to do so, but they give up a shorthanded empty net goal to Gregor, his 4th of the season. Now, believe me, when he's going for contract negotiations, they won't ask how. They'll only ask how many. So Gregor flipping the puck in shorthanded into the empty net. That gives Toronto a 4-0 lead in this game. And that's going to do it. Over the last couple of minutes, I didn't even take any further notes because it was obvious the Nashville Predators were not going to break through in this game. They just didn't seem to have their legs under them at any point in time. Let me give you the final. It's going to be 4-0 in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the shots on goal disparity just becomes incredible. 37 for Toronto, 18 for the Nashville Predators. So the Predators had 13 at the end of the day. The Predators went from 7 to 13 to 18 for the game, so only 5 shots on goal there in the third period, while the Maple Leafs went from 9 to 22. That would be 13, so 9 in the first, 13 in the second, to 37. Wait a minute. From 22 to 37 in the third period? Man, the Nashville Predators got dramatically outplayed in this one, and there were declining results as the game went along. Obviously, the Preds hung in until about the midpoint of the game. Then they gave up a couple of goals in the second, a couple of goals in the third period, and they were unable to find a way to defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto. They did defeat the Maple Leafs at Bridgestone Arena, so they get the split for the season series, and that's something that's becoming kind of a routine now for the Preds, getting season splits against teams that are much better than them in the standings and teams that they're perhaps not supposed to be competing against. That's something I'll talk about a little bit more here towards the end of the broadcast. But for the Nashville Predators, they fall 4-0 in Toronto. They're outshot 37-18. Now they'll have to move on. No time to think about this one. Got to just put the tape away, move on to Montreal, and get set for the Canadiens game. We'll have analysis and more coming up. We also have to get you set up for that Canadiens game. So you're listening to the Renegades of Puck podcast. That was the Rebirth Sports full game recap.